Do it.
G'day everyone, welcome to episode 11 of Leverage with myself, Damien Johns, and my good friend Lewis Bell. How are you, Lewis?
I'm bloody good, mate. Had a good Christmas. How about you? How are you
Yeah,
going?
pretty good, eh? Pretty quiet for Christmas at my place. So I just kind of sat there and practiced my bicep skills with my right arm up to just see how we go. But yeah,
Many
and
beers
look,
were
tonight
drunk,
we
were there?
have a very special guest, Jenna Hengst, who's joining us. How you going, Jenna?
Good, thanks, Damo, and good pronunciation of the surname there. You
How did
got
I
it.
go?
Most
Spot on.
people,
Happy
most people
days.
say
Hey,
Hinks or Hinks or
Hanks
Hanks.
Hurt. Yeah, you get all sorts of things. Like my name's Johns, and I get all sorts
Yep.
of interpretations as well. It's one of those things that people just can't get right. You'd be surprised how many different spellings of Johns I've seen in my time, and usually it's just Jones. It's pretty boring, really. Everyone's trying to keep up with those people, but I can't.
That's
Um,
shameful. Yours is a pretty easy one, really, at the end of the day.
it is almost as easy as Bell.
Yeah, that's it.
Um, let's just go straight to you, Jenna, because Lewis likes to talk a bit of rubbish. So we'll just stick with you, and we'll try and bring some maturity to the chat because it's the last one of the year. Jenna, can you tell us about Jenna? Jenna.
Sure. Thanks for having me, firstly. So I'm from the Sydney area. Well, I'm on the sort of the outskirts of Sydney, but born and raised in the Sydney suburbs. And my journey in crypto started probably July of last year because I was talking to a friend and he was telling me about how he'd invested in crypto and it was during the bull run and he'd made all this money and I was like, oh yeah, I want to get into some of that as well and see if I can't make some money as well. So I got in around July, started buying some coins. Um, watch the value keep going up. And so I was like, oh yeah, cool, I'll buy some more. Kept buying some more till eventually we got to, what was it, November or December last year, and the market turned around and started dumping. So yeah, I just sort of thought, oh, that's all right, I'll just hold on to these coins because it'll go back up eventually. And then here we are, like a year later, and the market's still going down. So I got pretty fed up around April, May of this year, thinking like, oh, this is a waste of time. What am I doing here? But then, like, I was still into crypto and I still wanted to, invest in it if I could. So I was friends with Brody on Facebook at the time, and I was seeing what he was doing in terms of making profits from shorting. At this point, I had no idea what shorting was. Didn't even know you could do it. So I got talking to Brody about it, and it's like, hey, like, how do you make money from the price going down? And he explained it all to me, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, like I need to learn more about this and get into it. So yeah, eventually he got me into the team, and I joined up in August. Spent about a month doing the course, learning all the technical analysis and everything. And yeah, a month later started trading and been trading for 3 months now. And I'll give you some quick stats. Win rate currently 60%, and my account growth is 14% since I started. So yeah, I'm like pretty happy with that. I think that's a great start, and yeah, just looking to continue, keep getting better, and keep growing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
Yeah, it's awesome.
when you look at a 60% win rate, that's double what's required at 3 to 1 to be profitable. So what's your kind of secret to that success, do you feel?
Probably a lot of beginner's luck.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
well, I at the start I sort of was just jumping into trades willy nilly, just because I was a bit trigger happy on the trade. So
Yeah.
I think I just got lucky with a lot of those wins. But now, like since joining the masterclass, I've really focusing on discipline and patience, and not just jumping into trades for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Doing proper TA, waiting for the right time to enter, and also, um, determining when not to enter a trade, because I think that's just as important as when to enter a trade.
Absolutely.
So mindset is a huge thing.
Yeah, that's critical.
100%.
Yeah, when not to enter, that's key. And what, like you said, you feel like it was beginner's luck, but now that you are, say, let's call it 6 months to round off down the track, what would you tell someone who's beginning, or what's the best advice you would, let's just say that you were tutoring or mentoring someone else, what's the best advice you would give them? Could be one or two or three things.
Yeah, probably just learn, jump on as many calls as you possibly can. The market scans, the trading hangouts, they're all like, I jumped on as many of those as I could when I was starting out, and it was such invaluable information to get from the people who are experienced and have been doing this for a while. So
yeah,
they just give you so much good info and insight.
Yeah. And you're a regular on the ladies' call, is that right?
Yeah, try and get on the ladies' call when I can. Yeah.
Yep. And how do you feel like the ladies in the group are supporting each other, and what are you taking from those calls?
Oh yeah, the ladies' call is great. Like there's so much. It's just such a supportive environment. Everyone's encouraged. Like no matter what stage they're at, whether they've only just started or they've been trading for a while, it's just everyone's there to help each other. There's no silly questions. It's ask anything you want, anything you need to. If there's anything you're not sure of, just ask and we'll help you out. Similar to all these other calls that happen. It's just very, very supportive and encouraging.
Yeah, that's great. And like when you're looking at like the future of your trading journey, what are you hoping to achieve in the future?
Yep. So I'm hoping the ultimate goal, like it is for probably many of us, is financial freedom. But I'm looking at, so I'm going to start next year, aiming to achieve 10% account growth per month.
Yeah, nice. And you are a mother of how many kids?
One of my own and 3 stepchildren.
And you find it I'm sure it's not easy, but do you find you're able to manage your trading journey with respect to the time that's dedicated and like how are you balancing trading, learning and life?
Yeah, it's tricky because I have my son and I work 3 days a week. I find that sometimes there's only certain times that I can look at charts, such as when he's gone to bed, because otherwise it's, distractions and I can't focus properly. So there's a little bit of a challenge, but I pick certain times where I know I'm going to have the time to sit down and properly look at charts.
Yeah.
Usually first thing in the morning and at night.
Okay. And what kind of trading do you like to do? Like, are you into breakout, retest patterns, a specific time frame or anything like that? Is there something that you enjoy, one thing more than the other kind of thing?
Yeah, not really. I'm still quite new, so I'm still trying to figure out what strategy works best for me. But I do like the higher time frames, like the daily and the 4-hour ones. And I like to keep it simple, support and resistance, trend lines and fibs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely keeping it simple is key. And I've seen your charts and I am quite impressed with the fact that you really keep it simple. And I love that you just are happy just to use the basic learning, really, just to purely do simple analysis and find the trades that win, and you when you enter our chats, it's almost so timely in that you're able to put forth your wins and you even share your losses as well, and you're very much a driving force in, as particularly our chats generally, but when it comes to the ladies as well, I know that you're really highly respected. So I do want to say thank you on behalf of all of us to your input into our chats, and don't underestimate your inspiration that you provide to us. And I know that you've been a guest on the ladies' chats as well, and told your journey. So I truly appreciate you volunteering to host with Lewis and myself tonight. And we truly wish that you are able to continue your success. And we really are excited about where you're going in the future. Now,
thanks
to
so
put-
much for that.
Now.
to put you under the spotlight, Jenna, are you willing to share a chart or two that you might have looked at in the last couple of days?
Yes, sure. I've got 3 actually that I can share with you guys.
Yes,
Awesome.
please. Takes the pressure off us,
see 'em.
eh, Lewis?
That's all right. I'll just kick back. Make a nice cuppa.
Jenna, you're in charge tonight. It's all you.
Um,
Oh,
all right, let me find. All right.
I love it when people share their charts.
Can you see that chart?
No. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yep, that's good.
it's up.
Ethereum.
Good
Yeah,
catch
cool.
up, Damo. It's all good, mate.
I know, I'm a little slow.
Yeah, so this is the one that I shared in the masterclass chat earlier today. So yeah, I was just looking at it is coming up to the daily resistance line, and it's also on a little uptrend. So I'm just looking for a breakout around here. I haven't entered a short as yet because I don't have any confirmation candles, and there's a few long wicks to the downside here, so that sort of tells me there's buying pressure there.
Yep.
So yeah, just waiting to see what that one does.
And can you, just while we're here, can you explain why your wicks are coloured? Sorry, your candles are coloured?
Yeah,
what indicator you're using?
It's the PVSRA indicator, and the different colours just show different volume.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what each colour means, but
yeah. So blue and purple work
red and
together. Blue and purple work together, blue and green work together, and red and purple work together. Looking at shorts and longs, and why is it that you have your friend like not on the wicks? Can you kind of give us a bit of an insight as to how you do that?
Yeah, so a tip I got a little while ago while I was learning is to use the line chart to draw your trend line, and that shows you the true point where
so
it
can you just
reaches.
show us how you did that again?
Oh yeah, so this little icon here,
Yep.
just click on that. So the default is candles. So click on the candle icon and you can choose what type of chart you want to look at.
Very good.
So choose line.
Yep.
And there it is.
So pretty much it
interesting
removes the noise. Sorry, Lewis.
Yeah. It's just interesting how well that honors the trend line on the line graph, isn't it? That's exactly as you just said, like removing the noise can just give you such a clearer picture.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
And that does give you a really clear picture. There's actually no kind of hesitation in putting your trend line there. And then when you do take that off and put it back to candles, you see that it's not ignored, but taken into consideration the wicks. But you're looking at, those wicks are fairly long to the downside, some of them, and you're looking at real buying pressure there. So, you really want to find out where it's bouncing from. So, thanks for that little tip. And is there any kind of what are you looking at shorts on that one, and how are you using fibs?
Yeah, looking at shorts. So I've got the fibs drawn. So starting up here at the high point of this trend.
Yep.
And then so market structure has turned here and now it's on a downtrend. So then drawn it down so the zero goes to the very bottom of the bottom wick. And then it's then started retracing back up. So then I would be looking at, so it's actually the resistance line is sitting between the 0.5 and the 0.382 on fibs, which is what we call the golden area, I think it is, or the golden pocket.
Yep.
So yeah, if there's two, I guess, indicators that it could drop from this point, So yeah, just sort of looking at what Bitcoin does, and if Bitcoin drops, then yeah, I would say this looks good for a short.
Very good. And you said you got 3 charts, so let's have a look at your next one.
Yeah, so a couple more.
So those of you that are sitting watching this, I'd recommend that you just indicate, like, either if you've got the time to copy Jenna's chart, like as she's talking. Obviously, Jenna, we won't stop for that. But if you've got the time to be able to copy it, then copy it. And if you don't, just make sure you're indicating that on your trading view. That's something to come back and look at later, or tomorrow when this recording's live on YouTube, you can go back and look at Jenna's chart and reconfirm. But obviously, most of what we do here is specific to the time, and that is Tuesday night at 8:50 in Queensland. So just be conscious of that. And just a reminder, none of it is financial advice. XMR.
XMR, yep. So I've got this on the 4-hour time frame. So I'll just show you the line chart again to show you how I drew the trend line. So yeah, I've got this resistance zone, the trend line up. So it's come sort of drop below the trend line and then come back up. So I'm just looking to see what it does from here, whether it keeps going up or breaks down and falls down. And then I've got the next support line down here. So
I like that one, Lewis.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it looks
it looks like it wants to break, doesn't it?
definitely squeezing.
Definitely
Definitely
squeezing
squeezing up nicely.
And that upward momentum seems to be slowing, and it's slightly sideways, which can always trigger a shorting opportunity. So I'm going to sit here, Jenna, while you're explaining that one more, and I'm going to click on that one and do a little sneaky color next to XMR. Thank you for that one.
Yeah, no worries.
I like it. And LTC.
Yeah, I like it. Looks good.
Yeah, that's a good one. And there's a little bit of candle action occurring too, right on that third last candle that you've got there. So that kind of indicates that there's a little bit of doubt.
Right.
So definitely when that comes back out of that zone and potentially breaks that trend, then you're looking for your confirmations, and around $140 looks like about a target that you might want to look to as true confirmation if you're going to go all the way down to the next level of support.
Yeah, for
Agreed.
sure. Yeah.
Agreed, Lewis? You like that one?
Agreed, mate. I like that.
Little
It's
sneaky
very
live
accurate.
analysis. How good is it? I love live analysis. That's why I'm
Too
here.
good. Too good.
I know. And LTC by the looks.
Yes, it's hiding behind the little
Duvalaka. That's Australian for thingy, which is also Australian for next chart.
Yeah. So just to get your guys' opinion on this chart. So I got it on, this is on the 4 hours as well, a daily resistance line, and I got the fibs retracement coming up to the 0.5. So yeah, would you wait for it to come back down and retest the resistance line there before entering?
For me, there's a bullish push there, but I'm seeing a bit of a cup formation. There could be a little bit of a handle at play in that it'll come back down possibly to that blue daily resistance line, and it could push back off. For me, that's not an entry at this point. I'd be looking for a little bit more confirmation to see where it goes and what it does. And that big red candle, which sits just above the 16 on the bottom. So the big red candle, which kind of starts the drop, I'd be looking at the potential for that to be fully reabsorbed. I mean, that wick, the green wick, about 6 candles to the left of where it is now has, and I'll just highlight that just so you can see what I'm talking about. So this wick here looks like it's reabsorbed this green candle here. So if you draw a line across, sorry, I missed it. If you draw a line across there, that wick has reabsorbed this movement. So and what you've got here is a cup. It could come down and form a handle. And if it stays, in that zone, it could go back up long. So it's something for me that I would probably just wait a little bit before I entered that one. Lewis, what do you think? Hello?
Yeah, it's if I zoom out on the 4 hour and have a bit of a look left, like it looks like more of a resistance level where it is to me, or more of an EQ level. Like my daily resistance is sort of a little bit higher than that, around the $72 mark. So to me, it's testing a resistance level at the moment. So I'd be a bit hesitant on a long. And if you are looking for potential entries for a long, like you've got your fibs the way that you've got them drawn. Where have you gone from? You're high to low there, aren't you? That's your one up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking for long opportunities, you probably sort of want to set the fibs up for a long as well to look for like retracements just on that last push up.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah, the safe entry is definitely waiting for a bit of a further retracement. If you're looking for a long, just to get that confirmation that you get like a strong level of support going on. But I don't know. I'm convinced that it's more likely to reject where it is than to continue. Just because I've got that resistance level a little bit higher than you based off the previous structure.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And you're also looking at the force of the push off that resistance as well. So that's why we look for the bearish or bullish engulfings, which kind of just shows that there's almost like a momentum push to start it off. So it's something that you just need to be patient. I'm not saying that it's a bad analysis or anything like that, but right now at this moment in time, it's worth waiting.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Especially because there's so much indecision in the market anyway.
Yeah. And a coin like LTC is famous for following what Bitcoin does as well. So you keep an eye on Bitcoin and make sure you've done your analysis on Bitcoin on the same time frame, just to confirm that you are feeling confident that your LTC trade, whichever way you feel it will go, will actually go the same direction. Yeah. Very good.
Good
you guys
stuff.
hear me all right? Because I'm getting
Good
a
advice.
notification that my internet's struggling.
Yeah, you're a bit laggy,
Am
Damo.
I?
Dropping in and
Okay.
out a bit. Yeah.
There you go. Should have paid the bill. Jenna, thank you. Is there something else you wanted to ask us about any of those? Or
No, I think that was it. Yeah. All
thank you
good.
so much for sharing and volunteering to host with us tonight. Please feel free to jump in at any time. Your input is well and truly appreciated. If Lewis is kind of going off tangent, make sure you pull him back and tell him
rein
if
me
any
back
of his
in.
analysis is struggling, make sure you tell him he's kidding himself and stuff like that. So you're in charge here, Jenna, and we are your guests tonight. So please feel free to jump in. Lewis, I'm going to throw to you, mate. I heard you've been looking at some charts today.
Yeah, mate, I've had a bit of a scan. To be 100% honest, like I probably haven't put a trade on since our last leverage call, just because it's not the sort of market that I would typically trade. But in saying that, there's opportunities out there. Like I see the guys in the chat post some wins all the time, and if you're patient and that sort of stuff, like yeah, there's still definitely opportunity there. It's just we're not seeing any of those sort of big moves yet, which really sort of move the market. Which give you those sort of good layers of confirmations for trades. But anyway, I'll chuck my screen up and show you what I've sort of just been looking at. So just starting with BTC, it's just not doing much. It's been going sideways now since like essentially the 17th of December. It's just been, ranging within this sort of 17. What was the top of that range? About 17, just nearly 17,100. To like that 16,400. It's just boring. Last couple of weeks, we really want to break out of that zone. Like my bias is still sort of bearish, definitely long term, but I was sort of looking at something like that for a quarterly contract. But I just don't have those bearish confirmations yet. Like it's definitely not looking strong. After this last push down, like there's virtually no buyer recovery that we've seen, so it's looking very, very weak. Which makes me sort of, lean towards that pardon me, lean towards that continuation further down. But it's just bouncing around between EMAs at the moment, and not really doing too much. So we haven't seen any big push in the market. But in saying that, I've found a few trades in that that could potentially go either way. I'll just sort of run through them. Hopefully they're not too terrible, because they're sort of rushed analysis. Just been busy with Christmas and that sort of stuff. But so this is what do we got? DYDX. It's sort of just broken down. It's in this sort of sideways channel. I don't know. I was sort of trying to find some sort of Elliott waves on it, but it's outside of that territory, so it's just bouncing around inside this channel. But it's looking bearish. Like, it's rejected off that 50 EMA, where, you know, we're down below that support level. We're sort of same sort of story. We've had a massive push down and virtually sort of no buy recovery. It's just bouncing off that same level. It's around that sort of fibs golden pocket area from this last push down here. We've had this slight recovery. We're in this golden pocket section here, so I'm looking for a potential short off that. Still well and truly within the downtrend. So yeah, that's one potential I was looking at. We've got Neo. So Neo's sort of lost that support. Oh God, I hate doing that. Lost that support level. We've got this downtrend forming. We're below our EMAs. Just not looking strong at all. Still well and truly within a downtrend. There's potential sort of horseshoe set up for like a small take profit target around these sort of previous. Oh God, nice straight line. Around these sort of previous lows, and then that's sort of like a bottom level potential target down around that $6 mark. So it's like a 30-cent move realistically if you caught the whole thing, but so it's not really that unrealistic. But yeah, definitely not looking strong. ONT, same sort of thing. It's sort of forming like a flag ascending triangle type setup, which in a downtrend is a bearish continuation. So I'm looking at the potential short on that one, only if it breaks that trend line. And I was hedging this one because there's a potential long scenario as well if we do break through that resistance level. So I've got an alert set, because realistically, if I were to get into a short, it would be more so from this level up here. So I've got an alert set around this level. So when it gets to that level, I'll just watch it. I'll see whether it's looking likely to continue up for a bullish scenario, or whether we reject off that level for like a horseshoe type play, or break of a pennant sort of play. So potential there either way. Same sort of thing with sand. Sand's like inside this triangle. It's bouncing off this resistance level. It could squeeze through. Bullish scenarios potentially like the break retest. I get in a long off the retest, and your bearish scenario is the break of this short term sort of uptrend retest continuation down. So two potential setups there off the triangle. Like, triangles can go either way. XMR, this is what Jen was just looking at. I just added it to my list then, so we're similar. We know what the TA looks like on that one. So there's a few potential long setups that I have in my green list here. So the Dash, it's had this pretty strong uptrend. It's found sort of a bit of an EQ zone through this area here. If we look at the fibs on this last push up, a golden pocket sort of right around this EQ zone. So like that would be my expectation for an entry and a long, is likely a pullback to that zone there. Catch that sort of continuation up. So that's one I'm watching. It found a lot of resistance at that level, and now it's pushed through with a fair bit of force. So and given the fact we've had this strong trend since like the start of November, it's an indication that it's quite strong, even given the very bearish market conditions at the moment. So I quite like to Dash for a long if it gets back to that nice sort of risk reward area. Dora, what do we got here? Oh, just watching this to see if it breaks this level, because it's on quite a strong climb. It's reclaimed all of its EMAs, even the 800 EMA. Like, if things are reclaiming 800 EMAs, that means they're breaking some pretty sort of long-term downward market structure. So it's just looking really strong. I'm just interested to see what it does at this level. Not the best setup for a long ever, but yeah, it's definitely gained a lot of traction in a short period of time after being stuck at a support level. So Mana, all of these gaming coins are looking pretty interesting to me for longs. We've got the market structure. We can see that's starting to change. So we've just sort of set that high low in this section. It's formed like a bit of a bull flag. Once again, sort of like an ideal retracement zone for me, sort of, somewhere within this yellow box for a continuation up. So that's another one that I'm watching. As long as we set that higher low at this level, then there's a fair chance that could turn into a nice long. Is everyone still there? I just feel like I'm talking to myself.
I'm listening, and that's all that matters, really.
I'm just.
We're listening, Alice. We're listening.
I'm zoned in.
We're nodding our head.
Thank you.
We're loving you sick right now, man. You're just sitting here, just. I think I'm secretly got a bit of a trading man crush on you.
Oh, I feel much better now to continue.
Yeah, carry on, please.
Same thing with Nia. So just squeezing up into that ascending triangle. We're sort of below the bottom here, so I'm just sort of interested to see if this breaks this resistance level it's been having trouble with for a little while. And there's potential if we reclaim a couple of those EMAs, a bit of room to move for a long sort of setup on that. But once again, you're waiting for that break and that retest to confirm that this is now our support level for a continuation up. And if we sort of break above this little bit of resistance here that we've faced in the past, there's potential for a lot of room to move on that coin. That's if you got in after you cleared that level, why aren't you working? There we go. That's potentially like a 20% move up to that next resistance zone up around here. So somewhere around here. So a lot of room to move on that one, and I know there's a lot of fundamentals behind that as well. It's a well spoken about coin, and if we're sort of somewhere towards the bottom where people are saying a DCA in, there's potential for this one to have a bit of a run, I think. So people, same thing. This is a bit of a hedge for me because there's two scenarios. Either we break out to the top, this resistance level, bang, retest, enter for the long. And then there's also the bearish scenario because we're at that squeeze point now. So we're either, we're going one way or the other. Bearish scenario is the break, the retest of that trend for that continuation down. So yeah, two options there on people that I'm waiting for. Sol, I'm just really interested in Sol just because it's at this strong support level. 2 months it's been stuck here. It hasn't fallen below here. We're squeezing down again, potentially like we have a bit of a breakout of like a short-term trend in this sort of section, or we break down, so you could potentially catch a short back to that previous low. Trade setup would look sort of something like that. Get a 3-to-1, be a bit more generous with your stop loss if you want, like get above that, these sort of previous wicks, this previous level through here. A little bit of an EQ, so if you can sort of get around that or clear that, that's your sort of safe option. Yeah, so two potential scenarios with Sol. Just to clarify, like I'm a big fan of Sol, like as a long-term investment. I think that it's a well-established ecosystem, and at the moment, like $11 Sol for me, I'm spot buying it too because I think it's just one of the best investments that, in my opinion, this is all my personal opinion, I think it's a fantastic investment for the future of crypto. So what do we got here? BCH, so similar sort of thing. So we've just regained our 200 EMA. We're above a resistance level. It's a little bit choppy, not my favorite setup, but we've got that change in market structure where we're setting these high lows, high highs. If we potentially come back for a higher low somewhere in this region, we've got that continuation up. We're sort of above those EMAs again. If we have a retest somewhere around this zone, we'll just sort of be retesting that 200 EMA. So I'm watching for that retest of the EMAs to see what happens, if we have that continuation up or not. And then, you potential take profits like previous market structure. So you've got like a few lows through this zone here. And you've got this zone here. So there's a couple of sort of managed trades, managed trade sections through here that we could look at taking profit. So, but yeah, not my favorite setup, that one. It's just what I'm keeping my eyes on. But yes, I think that's it. I've got a couple of things that I'm just sort of monitoring as well. Doge in a triangle. Not really doing anything at the moment. Long way to go if it's going to break up. Mask, I think, yeah, very similar, just in a triangle. It's got that EQ zone that is sort of hovering around. This could potentially be a bit closer to a breakout, but yeah, just keeping an eye on it. Like I'm not really looking at taking a trade on this anytime soon because I think you've probably got a few days before anything will play out. But yes, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. So Bitcoin is just really boring me. Like, and I realistically don't think we're going to have any momentum or big moves this week at all, like with public holidays, and there's not a lot of like high volatility news events or announcements or anything happening in any of the financial markets in the world. So it's just gonna, there's not going to be a lot of money moving. So I think we're going to wait until the new year until we see any significant move out of this consolidation area that we've been in for the last couple of weeks, which could potentially be a bit boring, but the glory of what we do is there is always a market to trade. So just go trade some Forex or go and look at some NFTs, or when the market's been really boring like this, and if you're not sort of having luck or not having wins, just go find another way to make money. There's so many options. Sweet. And that's what I really liked about what Jenna said as well, like when she said, you find time to trade regardless of what time you manage to fit into your day, to do trading. There's always a market you can trade. That's the best thing about it. So
true that.
But yeah.
Hey Lewis, there's a question from T. How did you work
my own
out
voice now?
Hey? There's a
question.
My
own voice now.
We keep talking over each other. How embarrassing.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. You can go first if you like.
Oh, how did I work out my liquidity grab? Or just, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a comment, thanks, Sexy Lewis. I don't really know.
Look, they're both good comments. I can't rate one any higher than the
Sexy
other.
Lewis. Have you ever heard those two words in the same sentence before, side by side? Sexy Lewis? Oh, Sexy Camo.
Only from you.
I'm sitting here. I'm not even talking. I know I've got a face for radio.
Only from you, mate.
T, whoever you are.
So just
your new favorite. Sorry, I'm self-indulging. Carry on.
It's just based off like the previous high. So I sort of studied a few of the liquidity grabs we had before, like big dumps and that sort of stuff. And they'll sort of always clear that previous high. So when we look back here, like we had this zone, these highs through this level here, where we sort of just kept touching. So that, to me, that was the liquidity grab level that I was sort of watching, just based off, previous dumps and that sort of stuff. Like even back here, like this was our high before we went through here. So this liquidity grab where it shot up to take out all the stop losses before the big dump, it's sort of just in line with that previous candle, and it, you go back in the last few months and there's a lot of that sort of activity. So it's just a bit of an estimate, what I expected based off what's happened in the past. And I think it's still potential. Like I honestly believe that Bitcoin's got a lot further down, or not necessarily a lot further down, but it's got further down to go. And you hear the terminology about like Christmas rallies or Santa rallies thrown around in the markets. And, there's potential for a bit of a Santa rally around Christmas, New Year's, where we have a bit of a sharp pump before a bit of a continuation down. I genuinely believe we're going to start to really feel the max pain the next sort of 6 months. So,
yeah. And
but yeah, that's my theory on liquidity grab.
Yeah. So you're hearing people talking about, now's a good time to buy, and then there's arguments to say, oh, well, if it's still dropping, why are you buying? The reality of it is, if you're dollar cost averaging in, what you're losing at the moment, you will regain in time. So that's the whole idea of dollar cost averaging. We're not saying put your whole, if you've got 10 grand, don't put 10 grand into Bitcoin today. But if you are looking at potentially long-term investing in something, then it's worth, breaking that down into smaller chunks, $50 a week for the next X amount of weeks, until you may use is the word, your $10,000, say, to be able to have a slice of the market at each of the times where it's available. And chances are that by the time it drops, it'll regain and you'll earn money that way. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, I can explain it more on Thursday night on our perspective call. Just a couple from me. It's not so much market analysis, but just kind of to leverage what Lewis was talking about, if you don't mind. Lewis, I'll just jump over the top. Am I sharing there, mate? Anyone? Can you see my screens?
Just real quick before you kick. No. Are you?
No, I don't think so. Something's going on here with my internet. Carry on.
No.
No.
Lewis is sharing.
Can you still see my screen? If you guys can still see my screen, Amber's just asking a question about my I think mine still have sharing. So Amber just asked a question about what my fib setup is. So I'll just share that really quick. What chart did I have it? Okay, so it's on this chart. So this is what I run here. And I've got that. So the golden, like Jenna mentioned golden pocket before when she was talking about her fibs. There's a couple of different sort of golden pockets depending on what you're looking for, but the ultimate sort of golden pocket for statistical big moves is actually like a 65 to 70% retrace on the fibs for a continuation up. So I know we talk about the springboard effect and that sort of stuff where, you know, the depth of, I'll do some clean fibs. So like the depth of the move into the fibs will determine the strength of the continuation up. We talk about, you know, that sort of stuff. I did my fibs the wrong way there, but you know, you get the point. And 61 is regarded to be like a pretty deep retracement, which means it's not going to have a very strong push. But statistically, like if you get to that sort of 70%, 65% range, there's a lot of really big moves that have come from that golden pocket there. So that's why I have that one as a separate color. And it's mainly sort of prepping for the bull market and that sort of stuff too, looking for when some of these coins at bottom are going to sort of start their bigger continuation ups, because it shows sort of like there's a lot of big market reversals around that sort of fibs level when you're looking at the macro moves. So, but yeah, that's I'll take a screenshot of what settings I run here and I'll put them up in the chats too, just so you guys have a picture of it, so you don't have to worry about scribbling it all down now. So, well, you could watch the video back too. That's also an option.
That is an option, and you can like and subscribe. You can like and subscribe by hitting that red button as well. Right there. What a great idea, Lewis. Hey, all right. Can I just quickly try and share? I'm not sure if I've paid my internet bill, but maybe if I have, then it'll let me connect just for a couple of minutes. If you, Lewis, can just stop, and that way, if I've only got a little bit of juice left in my internet, we'll go from there. Here we go. I just wanted to highlight.
Yep, I've stopped
we've seen that one. We're good. Boom. Just a quick one here with just a couple of coins. So what I'm doing here is kind of showing you what our Thursday night perspective.
Hang on, it's saying that you're starting screen sharing, but can't see it yet.
Oh, sorry. How good's internet live? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just talk. You can hear my voice? You can hear my voice or no?
No, mate, we can't see your screen.
No, but can you hear my voice? Oh, how embarrassing.
Oh, wait, here we go. We're up.
Hey, so can you hear my voice?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, good. Okay, so just a couple of screens.
And your chart's up now too, so we can see that.
Yeah, nice. Just a couple of things.
Now we can.
Come on, can you all stop talking so I can get my job done, please? So what I'm what I'm doing is it's not working, is it? What is going on? What is happening here?
I think it might be frozen.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? At least?
Yeah. I don't know how big the delay is though. I think it's pretty big.
Okay. Just carry on.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll just sort of I'll just keep going without your charm and charisma. I don't know how I'll manage that, but yeah, a few technical difficulties on Damo's end there, but I like I was doing a quick. I forget, like you look at the candles, we had that
You're not showing
rejection.
your screen, Louis.
Oh shit, my bad.
Am I back?
I can hear you, Damo.
You can hear me. That's about it. All
I
right.
can hear you. Yeah, no camera or anything, but
Maybe I'll get you to do put your screens up, and I can just talk you through what I was going to show. There's just a couple of things, but you can keep going now.
yeah, sure. I'll just finish this, and then you can talk me through what you want to do, Damo.
Right.
So yeah, I haven't moved my TA on this in a bloody long time actually, and it's sort of hovering around the same levels, just not doing anything. Like I was saying, a bit of potential Santa rally before, like a Santa rally on this is potentially up to the trend again, 4% or so, which is quite a big move for the S&P. But I think then you see another rejection from there, and then I think we sort of start hitting these sort of levels. That's my expectation. I really expect sort of max pain to start coming into the markets in the next 6 months. So these index funds and that are really gonna bleed a bit. But yeah, that's S&P essentially. Gold's not really doing anything, just bouncing around that level as well. US dollars not really doing too much either. Like they're all just sort of in these boring Christmas consolidations. So there's and yeah, I don't expect a lot of volatility until next week. So all of these will stay very similar, and I think I'll just keep an eye on those few setups I shared. But if Damo, if you want to try and talk me through a few of the ones you were looking at, what was the first one?
Can you actually see my face?
Yes.
So if I just try and share.
How fortunate for us.
Oh, yeah, good one. Look at Anina burst into laughter every time you say something. She's like, oh. Can you see my screen? Can't see my screen. No. Okay.
No.
So if you can pull up 1 inch, I'll just talk through that one. So just a couple of little things. So on a Thursday night, myself and Anastasia and Jack Lewis and Brett Quinn are running a perspective call. And on that call, I just wanted to give you a little taste of kind of the things that we look at. So if you're able to, Lewis, show us the 1 inch chart. So you can see that 1 inch has got a bit of a line of resistance through probably around 40.5, 0.405, somewhere through there. There's a bit of a line of resistance through. Now, I just want to kind of highlight a couple of things about entering too early. So if you've got a position size set where you think that your resistance line is there, probably around 0.04, just above there. Yeah, so around there where that black line is. If you're looking to enter there and you've got a 3-to-1 position set, say, to come down to previous market structure, and if you enter too early, that wick there will actually stop you out. So it's important that you are looking at what the market is actually doing rather than what you think it's going to do. So when you're looking to enter trades, make sure that your trading plan has in it that you've got certain criteria to enter trades. So when you are looking at certain trades that actually will stop out depending on your stop loss size. It also depends on your leverage. So if you are using a higher leverage, then your stop loss position that you may draw on your chart may not be your actual stop loss position as a result of the platform that you're using. Another one, that's just quickly analysis on 1 inch, for example. If you look at AVAX, you can see that there is a triangular formation on AVAX. There's a triangular formation on AVAX, yeah. So that one and the other one. So what you could be looking to do there is preempt what you think AVAX might be doing, and you can see that it's actually broken north of that triangle, so it's broken long. If you're looking to potentially you kind of feel like the market's bearish and it's going to go short, and you set a position size short, and then it turns around and goes the other way, what can happen is that you'll get stopped out. So what I guess the take-home message is, just be conscious of doing what, analyzing and trading what the market's doing rather than preempting it. So patience is key. If you go down to Badger, and you can also see that on AVAX, it's actually doing a little bit of on AVAX, it's doing a little bit of consolidation as well now. So if you're looking at, a position. So on Badger, we actually set Badger last week to enter at 2.32 on our chart. So it was hitting resistance, 2.32, Lewis, so the black one. We actually spoke about this last week, that it was coming up and testing resistance at 2.32. And it actually turns out that has gone a long way short. So I shouldn't use the word long when I'm talking about shorts, but it's gone short at 2.32. So what I guess I'm trying to say there is that actually confirmed that it had come up and hit, and it pushed off heavily off resistance at 2.32. So that would have been a good entry if you caught that one in our chat last week. And another thing is, you don't necessarily have to put a take profit in when you're taking a trade. So when you've got a bit more experience and you're looking at, a position that you may take, and you've got a 3-to-1, and then you go, I hit the take profit. That's all well and good. But imagine if you are feeling like you know how to not just simply stop there, and are able to watch and monitor, depending on obviously your day and your ability to do so. You obviously must set a stop loss, but your take profit can be something that you can adjust or have a play with, or take a percentage. So if you are looking to learn more about that, then I'll go through that on Thursday night on the Perspective call if you're able to jump on. The BCH, if you go to BCH, just have to remind myself what I was going to say about that one. Gee, my internet's slow. What is going on? Oh, BCH is on the hourly EMA on BCH. It's at a point of crossing. So there's a strong surge. This is hilarious for all of you, isn't it? This is I don't know whether you're looking at BCH. This is crazy. So hang on, I've got to close this door because the rain's coming.
I am, mate. Can you hear me?
I don't think I'm meant to be here tonight. Seriously, between the rain, the weather, kids are running around. It's all happening. So
you're on fire, mate.
Lucky, this. Hey, professional. I'm still keeping on. You can see that the EMAs on BCH are at a point of crossing. So that's something to keep an eye on, because when they cross over, usually there's a change in direction. However, just be conscious that it's still under the 800. So I wouldn't be too confident that it's long time just yet, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on the fact that there is a little line of resistance forming through the middle there, and you might just want to take a position accordingly. When you are looking at positions, just make sure that you are looking at things that don't seem obvious. So there could be a triangle or a flag or a channel or something that you might be looking at, but you might not be seeing a trend line that runs through historically, or a line of resistance or support if you haven't looked left. And I guess that's the message that I'm trying to say, that in this market, particularly when things don't seem so obvious, and you might have some time and you might think to yourself, oh, look, I've got a whole heap of time and I'm going to jump onto the charts, that you just want to make sure that you are indeed making sure your analysis is sweet and you're not just jumping in. Jenna, the EMAs that those two that are coming to meet are the 50 and 200, I'm presuming, Lewis, that's your setting that you've got? No, everyone's frozen. How good.
Am
I back?
You're back.
Wow, look at this. Look at this. How good am I going? Jenna, the 200 and the 50 is what we're looking at. So when they cross above the 800, then you can be in for longs or shorts, and if they cross below, you can be in for longs or shorts. So it's something that Lewis, we might next week do a full thing on EMAs, hey?
There's a lot of questions about them, and they're a good little tool to
Yeah,
have.
so let's make next week's leverage call focusing mainly on EMAs, and we're able to do a little bit more. I have looked at it, episode 8 or 9, Jenna. If you go back into our YouTube channel and look at the blurb, you'll see that there's a bit of stuff there, and I can send you a video too on that.
I'll focus on EMAs, and you can focus on getting a decent internet provider. That can be our goals for the week.
Dead set killing me. So once they cross, so what you're looking at is the 50 to cross the 200. If the 50 sits above the 200, you're looking for a long opportunity, and if the 50 sits below the 200, you're looking for a short opportunity. It's more confirmed, obviously, if they are happening like below the EMA, the shorts are more confident, and above the 800, sorry, I should have said the 800 EMA, above the 800 EMA, you're looking more at the long opportunities. So below short, above long. So that's the long and the short of it. Literally, excuse the pun.
That's good.
I know. Well, look at you all smiling because you can finally hear me again. So what we will do next week is we'll look a little bit more specifically at that. Okay. Is there anyone out there that wants to share or get a chart analyzed live by Lewis, because he's the only one that has the internet connection that's working? Please feel free to jump in. Yep, Adam, no worries. I got you next week. We will look at that. And Jenna, you are the co-host. You don't have to type. You can just speak tonight because you're the host. Anyone got any charts that they want us to look at? I realize that we're saying that there's not a lot in the market, and Lewis has seen some longs, seen some shorts, and if you go down your list left, like you'll see red and green. So it's one of those ones that there's various positions. So it's a good opportunity for you to be doing some. If you're new, it's a good opportunity to be seeing what the market's doing and doing that for free. You don't necessarily have to put money forward, but if there's no one that has anything that they want to share, going once. We might have to run a raffle, Lewis, that anyone that shares a chart might go in line for like an external hardware wallet or something like that. Let's do that.
Oh, that'd be sick.
So let's throw some money forward and say, hey, if someone shares a chart like over the next couple of months or couple of weeks, whatever, they get a ticket in the hardware wallet external for free. Hey, that might get some people involved. Joel's awesome. AGL short. AGL, please, Lewis, if you can pull that up. We'll have a look at Joel's AGL short.
Was that a gold? Is that what
Yeah,
so that was, I think he just had I didn't get on it, but he was looking at this level here. EQ zone, previous support, previous resistance, like you see through this sort of whole section here. And then that's traced up and found resistance at that level. I'm pretty sure he just shorted off that retest there.
Yeah.
And I think it was, what did he have? I think he had from up here, because that's sort of like the last impulsive move down. That's all as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so see that's sort of right in that sort of golden pocket for a strong continuation down, and it's a retest that aligns with the 50, the 200 EMA too. So it's it's like a bit of a bear flag setup essentially. That's how I would have seen it, like something like that.
Yeah.
So his confirmations is, in trend, it's still in a downtrend. He's rejected off the EMAs. He's rejected off a previous resistance level. So there's plenty of confirmations off there, and you had some pretty strong bearish candles that came off that level as well. Wicks to the top side, nice clean setup really. Joel normally finds some pretty good setups. So
yeah. And Joel
That's
Joel really trades off resistance lines, and you can see that that's rejected. It's slowly traced back up. It's it hit resistance and bounced off. That trade well and truly isn't complete. So I'm not saying enter it, but if you are in it, just make sure you're watching it because it's still got potential to turn around. So
yeah.
make sure that you are indeed taking profits along the way. Don't necessarily sit there and wait. And you got to remember that you are trading at your ability rather than the ability of others. So others can give you advice as to what to trade, similar to what we can do here. But you still need to do your own analysis and you still need to be comfortable with your own positions.
So they're probably the three sort of zone. Oh God, what have I done? They're the three sort of zones I'd probably potentially be looking to manage the trade. So it's probably approaching a level now where you'd be looking to, see what happens. Previous sort of support level, resistance. Oh gosh.
Where it is now is a pretty decent EQ zone too. If you're looking left there, even that little bit there confirms that we are at a point of possible turnaround again. So this is where your psychology comes in. If it does bounce a little bit, comes back up to the 50. If you've entered up near the 65, if it comes back up to the 50, you might be thinking, oh, gee, I've got to get out of this. You may be someone that takes some profit. It just really depends on who you are and what your psychology is, what your game plan and trading plan is. And you've just got to make sure that you're continually analyzing something, particularly in this market.
Yeah.
All in AGL, no stops. Let's go. Well, good luck, T.
That's it. That's how you do it. That's how you get rich. No.
My friend Aaron has decided that he would like to ask to look at Ren, please, Lewis, if you don't mind. Now, I'd do it, but I got no internet connection, so.
Yeah, convenient excuse, don't
So, Aaron, what are you looking for, mate? You looking for a long here or a short or something specific you want us to look at? I see a bit of a trend line on the bottom there, Lewis. So where it is now, see where it's bounced off. If you kind of draw a bit of a trend line back up through that. I'm talking on the bottom. So if you look on the
sort of
through there, there's a bit of a trend, and that's actually, if you're looking at the wicks, if you can connect those three longer wicks, is there something there on the top? Yeah, leave that one. But on the top, if you look at those three long wicks, is there something even back to the one originally? Yeah, so if you look at the three longer wicks, is at the top? Yeah, they all connect too. So,
I was sort of more looking at as well, mate, just from the last high there. Did my Fibonacci down to the bottom, and it's sort of, I think, coming close to that 38 zone.
That sort of setup there.
Okay.
And there's a sort of a bit of a resistance line coming across from the left as well. So I'm
on the 38
back down.
You're sort of looking like that sort of level there.
Yeah.
There.
Just see what it's doing off that EMA, mate. Presume it's a 200, your orange one, Lewis. Just that 200's got a bit of a hairy wick on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Just make sure your EMAs are on, Aaron, just to make sure that you are looking at that point of respect there. But definitely be drawing those two trend lines that Lewis has got on your screen and seeing how it squeezes.
Yeah, definitely.
And if any of your positions, don't make them too long term until it exits those two trend lines.
It's definitely like if you look that sort of far left, is definitely a good level to look for rejection, but and it's sort of lining up those EMA as well. Like I don't really mind that for a short. It just I just think it could potentially have a bit of a further recovery before a bit of a drop. So
yeah, the push is pretty solid.
This is sort of the level that I'd probably sort of look more so. And what's that look like on fibs? Like that's probably more around the level you'd expect a strong sort of continuation from, which is sort of around that sort of 50, a bit deeper, like that zone through there, because that whole zone there is pretty, to me that's a pretty strong sort of EQ level. So I'd sort of expect a bit of a deeper recovery like that. But it does, every possibility it rejects off this level too. This is a 4-hour chart too, so like a 200 EMA and a 4-hour chart's, a pretty strong sort of signal.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it though. It's definitely worth a look.
Yeah, not bad, not
Awesome.
bad.
Thanks, guys.
I'd watch it, keep my eyes on it.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I'm going to highlight that one right now. And John Lewis, hopefully he's got internet. He's only up the road from me, so hopefully he's not getting rained out like I am, and his internet works. So, John, feel free to jump on, mate, and then we might wrap things up if there's no one else.
Yeah, get on there, mate.
Sure, just share.
Maybe we can get Jenna in to help us with this one. Jenna's on. Look at her go. She's excited. Look at her face. She's keen. She's smiling. I love it.
Yeah, can you see the screen?
Yep.
Thanks, Anina. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so this is what I've been looking at for most of the day. In the morning, this is alpha on 1 hour.
Good rejection there.
Yeah, so quite a steady resistance zone here, and the triangle coming up here. So I entered this morning. It was sort of bouncing off this trend line here. So I thought I set this black line here with an alert. So I was checking to see if it came back up and retested on this resistance line here. So I set an alert there, and when it did hit that, I basically entered the trade, and it's on its way back down. So it's sort of consolidating a bit up here. But I also set an alert here, depending on whether it broke this trend line and maybe possibly retested here and come back down. But yeah, so what do you think?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, is that, you go.
Yeah, sorry, did you say you have entered this already?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Yeah. It's a squeeze, so to me it still could potentially go either way.
Yeah.
But it's definitely at that decision point. So I think you've got the right idea for setups and everything. You want that break and retest of the trend if you're going to be, to me, like if you're going to be shorting it, you want that break retest of that trend, because it's obviously quite a strong trend, because look, you've had sort of like 5 accurate touches essentially in that period. So it's sort of honoring that trend it's indicating it's honoring that trend quite well. So I think potentially it could have jumped in a little bit early, but I like the idea of where your head's at for the trade.
Yeah, I tend to do that.
Don't we all?
I also like that the stop loss is above that zone, so
yeah,
it's quite a generous stop loss, which is what you want. A lot of people set their stop loss a little bit too.
I've been trying to do that a lot recently, trying to have more generous stop losses, because I think I've been stopped out a lot. So I've been trying to do that, but I'm trying to focus on the generous stop losses.
Yeah, and you just got to make sure that those stop losses are indeed high enough. And what you've done is totally correct, in that you've drawn the zone, you've put the stop loss above the wick. Probably, if there's an affordability to do so, maybe even put that stop loss a little bit higher, particularly even if you're using a leverage. So depending on how big your leverage is. But if you're using only 1, 2, 3x, it's probably not that significant. But if you're creeping up toward 5 or 10x, then that's going to probably not work in your favor. But when you're looking at your target zone, you can see that to the left of that, there's not a lot of resistance, and it's all bouncing off that trend line. So there could be some targets that you draw yourself. Maybe I'll just quickly draw it on for you. Maybe through here. And like maybe that one might be your first take profit area, just in line with that. But the second one, kind of like that one, where that is here is pretty accurate to these ones. So just be something to be conscious of through this kind of 0.079-ish line here. So that's good, man. I appreciate you sharing that one.
Hey, I've got a quick question about trend lines. So with support and resistance lines, the more touches they get, the weaker they become. Do you find that's the case with trend lines as well, or not necessarily?
Yeah, I actually spoke about this on Thursday night, that when you've got people are of the mindset that a trend line only needs 3 touches, but like if we're looking at a flat line of support and resistance, the more touches the better. And the same thing happens when it's on an angle, which is just a trend line. So the more touches on a trend line, to me, the stronger that trend line is confirmed. And yeah, again, there's been a bit of a request for me to look at that again on the perspective call on Thursday. So if you have the opportunity to jump on that, jump on. But yeah, definitely to answer your question, that it's something that the more confirmations, the better. So it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Lewis? We wrap it up?
I think that's probably not a bad idea, mate.
All right. Well, I do appreciate everyone jumping on. I do apologise for my technical issues. Hopefully by next week, my mum's paid the bill and everything's okay. And yeah, look,
love the honesty.
It's pouring rain here, so it's not really going to be my friend. Lucky I got 9 holes of golf in the Savi, mate. Hopefully your 9 holes in the morning, Lewis, is all right down on
mate.
that Nudgee golf course, wherever you're playing. But look, guys, I appreciate the time that you've taken to do this in a busy week. Maybe not so busy for some, but yeah, so episode 11 over and out. Thank you so much, Jenna, for your insight and jumping on. You're always welcome on our calls. And for those of you that have stuck around to the end, we do appreciate you. Please feel free to like, subscribe, hit that red button. I think it's down here. And what I want you to do is please tell your friends and invite your friends next week, and they can join us. So if there's anything you want us to look at, anything you want us to make a point of in our calls, then please feel free to reach out to us via Facebook or via our Facebook individual accounts, or follow us on Facebook on our link that we will send out, and we'll put that link in this video. Thanks, guys, and we will see you soon. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, see ya.